What's up, everybody? It's Wednesday, so Dynasty Pylon has to be on. I'm Brian the Grizzly here with Mark. We got Alec here. What's up, guys?
What is up?
What is up, everybody? Are you ready for another exciting day?
Removed. He's out of here. I was kidding. I'm just kidding. Look at this man trying to be. There he is.
One-niner. We have some butthurt fans in the building. I repeat.
Well, you're the only butt person that we with the tush push.
Oh man. All right. Oh, guys, you guys are funny.
No, what was funny was I was gonna come on Sunday and just beat up all you guys. I was like, why are you going crazy? What are we doing? With all that being said, guys, we had a lot of stuff going on in the NFL this week. Mark, you want to give out any breakdowns of what you've seen? Any of the things you want to talk about so far before we get into our draft?
I just saw possible Trey Hendrickson trades.
Okay, so what do you think? What do you see?
From what the experts at ESPN, they had 4 top landing spots and what a trade compensation would look like.
Okay.
Their number one value was Detroit for a second-round pick. Straight up, Trey Hendrickson for a second-round pick.
Which makes sense.
They also feel like Detroit gives them the best opportunity at a long-term higher contract, I guess. I don't know.
But don't you think Detroit's pick would be a lower tier second-round pick?
Mm-hmm. Another one was the Colts.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Another, I think, second-round pick.
Yeah, Colts second-round pick. That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
And then there was ours. The Commanders were on the list. I don't know how I feel about it.
Okay. Read what it is.
Oh, man.
Ours was only a third / maybe fourth, but we had to get up Johnny Newton.
Oh, no.
Why the hell would you give up a 3 technique for a aging defensive end? Nah, bro. I can tell you how I feel about that. No.
They said we brought in decent defensive tackles in the draft, or the draft, free agency, and he was expendable.
Yeah, I don't like that. Okay.
He's not 31 until December. So.
What do you feel about? You thought it was 4 of them?
Yeah, I can't. I was trying to remember the fourth one.
So I thought you were going to say something like Dallas or Philadelphia.
No, it wasn't the Bears either. Thank God. I was by the
No,
Bears.
we've already said that we're not doing it. We're not.
That's what I thought. The only other they had Ramsey on there, which was apparently Ramsey's value is pretty low.
Yeah.
There was one where he goes to the Rams for a 7th round pick, and the Rams get a 6th round pick. So the Rams get Jalen Ramsey, a 6th round pick, and all they have to give up is a 7th round pick. But they have to take on the whole contract.
Exactly. Yeah, pay him.
And that's why it is that way.
That is what I've heard that the Rams are trying to get, or
Yes.
probably the best landing spot for him overall.
Yes. And that's because 2 of them were to the Rams. I think
You think?
I know it got really quiet all of a sudden. I was like, huh?
I was like, he was deep in thought for a second. I was like, yeah. There he is.
yeah, I mean, don't worry. It's just, my internet being.
Well, we got Kent's in the building saying we better not trade Henderson now. Well, the problem is you don't have no money. You spent half of the entire budget you have, the entire cap. It's on 3 players. And you have to figure out how to sign all these other players. How are you gonna have the other 50 players on your roster? How? So I don't know. Cincinnati's interesting.
And then the other one was possible Kirk Cousins trades.
Are you surprised that the Pittsburgh Steelers are still Waiting on Aaron Rodgers.
They were on there. Yeah, they were on there.
What are they doing waiting for Aaron Rodgers right now? I don't understand.
Basically, all I got from the Kirk Cousins trades was the more money you want to take off of Atlanta's plate, the less you have to give up.
I'm expecting next week, right after this little camp thing we have, this mini camp. I'm expecting them to get back into that trade market and then ask, what if we take on $25 million? You know, could we give you a 4th round pick, a 5th round pick? I think that'd be interesting.
So the top spots for the Browns, there's only 3 of them. It's Pittsburgh, Minnesota, and Brian's gonna love this one. Cleveland.
Cleveland, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
but in the proposal, Kenny Pickett is the one out. He gets traded.
Well, we know. I mean, someone's getting traded in Cleveland. Someone's out.
Well, they can put one on the practice squad and lock them.
Yeah, but you go into an active roster with 3 on your active roster, because you could have someone on a practice squad and let them come up for game day as your emergency quarterback.
Third quarterback. So.
Yeah, so you don't even have to put 3 on. So you're going to have to get rid of one of these guys.
It was Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and apparently there's 2 people who pitched Minnesota. Apparently they think that could happen.
That's interesting. I guess you'll know more going into this mini camp and then full camp. What you should expect in Minnesota.
Bills was the other one for Hendrickson. Also a 2nd round pick.
They got money? No, they don't, right? I mean, Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld now own what? 60% of the cap. They're married, so I don't know how that works. Anthony says, you think Teddy Bridgewater would be a good fit in Pittsburgh? Well, isn't that the same thing they got? Teddy Bridgewater?
What? Teddy Bridgewater?
Because he's retired and he's someone you think that he'll be a good fit there. But I think Mason Rudolph is better than Teddy Bridgewater, personally.
Oh, by the way,
yeah, I want to talk about this.
Oh yeah, what do you think?
This made my day.
On the cover actually affects his value.
I want to hear what you want to say. I want to hear this all about you. Yeah.
Oh well,
I want to hear him, but then I want to go into not just Madden, but there's another one too. I'm gonna get
into. Oh yes, no, we're gonna talk about certain other team. Don't worry, we will. But what do I think about segment? I mean, great for him. You know, the Madden curse is real. Supposedly, for most of the years, it's been pretty accurate. I would say. It will probably hurt the value of people who know, and the people who don't know are just like, yeah, okay, I'll still get them at the 101, 102. I think if anyone could break the curse, obviously Mahomes did what year was him and Brady on the cover? He did just fine. Didn't he win a Super Bowl that year? So
it seems to be real for running backs.
There's always a first for everybody.
You want to know what they did that year they were on the cover? It does not look good.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to hear it.
There's Eddie George. He got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Who was Christian McCaffrey? Saw what happened to him. He was on the cover of Madden and won Offensive Player of the Year and then missed 13 games.
Oh.
The last 5 Offensive Player of the Year the following season, the least amount of games a player has missed, 7.
Wow.
Last 5.
Ooh, that would be bad, man.
So not only is the Offensive Player
7.
of the Year, he is on the cover of Madden.
The idea that Alec would have to come on here and deal with the Cowboys having a better season than him, with him, Saquon being out for 8 games next year, is so enticing to me. Oh my God, I would laugh so hard. So the Commanders win the division, the Cowboys are second, and the Eagles are out of the playoffs. Oh my God, you wouldn't hear the end of it from me. I would be talking about it every single second of the day. Like every time I saw Alec, I was like, "Hey, so how's the playoff times? How's it going?"
One weighted division, and that was to the Giants. They split with the Giants.
You split with the Giants? Oh my God! Oh my goodness! We're going to heat you. We will. time to heat you.
It's two curses this man's battling. So
no, you just the iceberg.
Man, you know what they say: misery loves company, guys. Am I right? When two poverty franchises try to talk to me, I'm just saying. Let's see what happens, guys. Because that's all it is.
These guys right here are going to be a problem.
Look how well you did the next year after you won your last Super.
To be fair, the following year, we still made the playoffs. It was funny. And if I recall, the following year,
Super Bowl 3 years later, the coach and quarterback were gone.
Ooh, that's not going to happen. I like.
Well, no, not this time. What happened last time also, as soon as we won the Super Bowl, we lost both our DC and our OC. And we still made the playoffs. And if Alshon Jeffrey's hands weren't for decoration, it would have been an NFC Championship game again, probably the Super Bowl. But, he went right through his hands, and the Saints beat us. I was actually at that game, oddly enough.
Oh, so you're the problem. Gotcha.
Shut up. Anyways, I sent you guys the
the link. I'm gonna go over a few more things, and we're gonna give you the link, guys. So we're getting ready to do a draft. It's gonna be a special draft. I'm gonna tell you all about it. I'm gonna read you the rules and the scoring. I'm gonna share it, but I kind of just want to go over the idea with the Steelers having to go talking about the Jonnu Smith again. Jonnu Smith going to the Steelers makes me. I'm questioning why with Freiermuth there.
That's going to hurt Freiermuth's value, to be honest.
And I'm thinking fantasy-wise, dynasty-wise, that can hurt a lot of teams. So keep your eye on that.
This is true.
Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith. We saw what happened when Jonnu Smith was on Atlanta, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he comes in and he steals catches, he steals receptions, and that might be a problem.
You're not wrong.
So I mean, besides that, we have a lot of trades and signings and everything. We had J.K. Dobbins that's going to visit Denver right now tonight. Might be signing with them by tomorrow morning. If you wake up, he might be there. Does that make you worry about RJ? Do you think this rookie's not ready? Why would you bring in J.K.?
Depth. That's all you need, because you have two guys behind it who have been reliable and injury. So might as well bring in another guy who also has problems with that. Because why not? But it also kind of helps Harvey in a way. Because look, it's the same way that the Browns having 4 or 5 QBs and the carousel of things. That doesn't make sense either. But sometimes people compare to the Browns. Well, look. So sometimes people bring in a guy just because they want to see, if he has anything left in the tank. If he does, maybe he'll outperform some of their backups. Because I do think RJ is the lead back for that team. I mean, he's the youngest. He clearly has the best breakaway. I think he's like one of the best also when it comes to break tackles as well coming out of college.
I'm not sure that RJ is the number one running back. And I think that's probably why they're doing this for JK. Because what's going to happen, RJ is probably the most, it's definitely the most talented. Not even a question. But he might be a better second guy.
He's just visiting, right?
It's just visiting. So it might be tonight that you might see the signing, but he's just visiting. But Audric Estime, I mean, are you really blown away by him? McLaughlin has had good times, but J.K. Dobbins is definitely a bit better than him. This might be a Montgomery thing.
Makes sense to have at least 2 solid running backs. So I'm not sure. Like you said, who else is on their roster? You're not going to just run with RJ the whole season. You probably die.
Especially because you might be running
Najee Harris. He had that great rookie year because he had the ball so many times.
Yep.
He ran out of juice.
Yep.
Well, my biggest thing with Harris was I didn't think his efficiency was really all that great to begin with. I mean, when I watched him play, yes, he had a good rookie season, but I was like, I feel like that he'll just regress year 2. I wasn't expecting him to go all these different years where he's just kind of, being like an RB2 kind of guy who just gets a bunch of carries. But, we'll just have to see what happens. People are more so worried about Hampton for that reason, more so than I think RJ, because people think that if Hampton gets all these carries, that it will eventually lead to an injury, maybe a year or two, because, running backs being worked like a workhorse, they got, let's say, 400 plus carries, they're bound to get hurt. So
they got Najee Harris.
That's just what I've heard.
Coincidentally enough, they have Najee Harris, who will probably shoulder some of that running back load.
My worry still is with RJ Harvey. I feel like he's more Darren Sproles, and Darren Sproles can't be your lead back.
You're not wrong.
Are they the same?
I mean, that's just what it is. Not just the same height, but the style. That's what coming out when you looked at a lot of these apps. Their comparison was to Darren Sproles. That was the big thing, and you don't know what's going to happen until you get into the NFL. You see their actual teams. But I think they're looking at it saying we might need a guy that could take over, because we all know about JK. JK's in the game. He can take over. He's a quality running back that just always gets hurt. And then you can let him get hurt, and then RJ's still there. So I feel like that's actually a smart move overall. But that's neither here nor there. We don't even know if this is going to happen or mean anything, because the hell's happening? What are they doing? He might not even sign.
This is true.
But this is something that we can look forward to.
Both my monitors just went black, and now my Dynasty pylons on the other screen. What is going on?
That's why if you had this Eagle type of connection here, you'd be flying high. Kicked off.
Guess what, guys? I'm all by myself now. Forget everybody. No, just kidding.
I feel like you have too much power here. We should get a mediator here that can just.
There's no such thing as me having too much power, because I have all the power.
First off, that wasn't an internet connection. That was my computer.
Yeah. Oh, and as you guys can tell by my background, my PC's back in work, and I have.
That is good. I'm happy to hear that. Oh, I was actually happy to see that. Your computer's working. Were they able to come in and fix everything?
Yep, they were able to come in and fix everything, and I was so happy because I even told them, "Hey guys, if you can get it done today, let's do it, because I have something important going on tonight." So, made it sound like I was a businessman. In reality, I'm just a guy talking about fantasy football. Nothing too crazy.
All right.
Funny hats all day. All right.
Want to get into what this draft is all about? We'll let Alex take it.
All right. So I'm just going to read a few things, and then I want Alex to actually talk about why he wants to do this draft. But this is the Scott Fishbowl draft that we're going to do. Scott Fishbowl is a fantasy football tournament that's really changing a lot of things that's going on. And it's a very anticipated event. Alec is actually one of the members that are going to be able to do it. He started one-man vision since 2010. He's been doing a lot of different things. He's had 3,000 participants in the recent years. So this is a big thing going overall. So a lot of participation, unique roster formats, scoring innovations are great. You got divisions and playoffs. Celebrities are involved with it. So, he also has I think it's Fantasy Cares, like something that's going back to the kids. So that's for Toys for Tots. Am I right, Alex? It's Toys for Tots.
Similar thing, yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, Scott loves to do things for charity. That's like his biggest reason for doing these things. So.
Well, I think these are all good reasons, and because it's becoming bigger, I want to just look at it, see how it is. We're not going to do a full draft because they usually have 11 starters and 11 bench players. Yeah. We're not going to do that.
We're just doing the starters today. Yeah, we're just doing the starters, and it's kind of like best ball, essentially. That's really what the best way to describe Scott Fishbowl.
I like this. All right, so I'm going to bring up the scoring real quick, guys. Let's see if I can find a way to do that.
Yeah, I was just disappointed that they didn't add kick or punt returning or even IDP players. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, like how you
Where's my love for
scoring? No, IDP players. That doesn't make any sense. So we got basic scoring: 6 points for touchdowns, 2 points for all 2-point conversions, 125th for passing, 1/10th per yard rushing and receiving, 1 point for first downs rushing and receiving. Volume is king. 0.5 points per carry. Wow, that's crazy. 1 point per target for MFL, 1 point reception MFL, 2.5 points per reception on sleeper. Okay. We got tight ends. He's at 1 extra point per reception. So that is a tight end premium. IDP scoring. So that's really is Travis Hunter kind of things because they don't draft defensive guys. So that's which is interesting in itself. But 6 points for a sack, 6 points for a safety, interception call to 6 points, a block, punt, field goal or a PAT, 3 points. Forced fumbles, 3 points. Fumble recovery from opponents is -3 points. Tackles are 2 points. Assisted tackles 1 point. Tackle for loss is 1 point. Pass defender is 1 point. In the starting lineup, we have up to two quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight ends. We have up to 9 running back, wide receiver, tight ends. Like I said, 11 starters, 11 bench players. This is a really interesting way to do these things. I like it, man. I like seeing something different. Even though I can't get into the league. I don't know why it won't let me in.
I couldn't get in either.
You guys can get in here. Let me try sending it because everyone else is here. Let me try.
Well, I'm in the room. You can't get in.
I can get in the room. It just won't let me select a team.
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I see everyone else here, and I see like 10 of us in here. I just don't see you two.
Yeah, we're in the room. But we can't select the team.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Let me.
I see 2 empty spots, 8 and 12. But
yeah, and we would like to get in.
If we can't do it. Here, check the actual Sleeper app because I just sent you a message. Oh wait, or did you? Yeah, no. Wait. Yeah, no. I just sent you a message on Sleeper. I'll send you as well. Although for some reason, every time that I message you, Mark, it always seems to never work. I don't know why. But I'll send it to you anyways. Okay. They asked me not to random it because I guess everyone who's joining knows their spot already. So I'll just.
Well, now I don't have a spot. So, wow. Oh, there it is. I do have a spot. So, what? How? No, this is the last one. Okay. That's why. This is not the right one.
All right. So, you're in is Mark in because we need to be able to get Mark in as well.
I'm not in. Well, there's B. Waller.
So, let me know, everybody. Because I see that you just joined, so just need to.
I sent you an invite again too.
Yeah, on Sleeper you'll be able to join, and then when you get in here, what I might have to do is I'll probably just have to because we need to be able to have all 3 of us in there. So
why do we not want to be areas? Why would we not want to do random? I don't understand that.
So the reason why is because a lot of people who do Scott Fishbowl, they already right now know what their draft spot is. Because he just announced everything today. So a lot of people already know where their drafting spot's from. Though technically speaking, I think he randoms the order anywames. Or
and I want to make sure that people that are here are trying to understand what this is doing.
It's subjected to be randomized at the actual live event. That's what I.
So this is our live event.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying we should randomize it anyway. Because it should be random,
that is
right?
fine. Let me
I shouldn't get penalized because I was the last one in the league.
Whoa, that sucks for you now, doesn't it?
Because it's only on his channel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we shouldn't randomize it as he's sitting there with the number 1 pick.
Hold on, let me just talk to everybody real quick. Just
let everyone know because this is the only way we're going to do it here. So, want to make sure everyone understands and why we're doing it, not because of any other reason.
Yeah, of the fact Scott said he would.
And then you can still go ahead and make sure if it's one person, just make sure they're in the same spot. But everyone else, we should get a chance to randomize it.
Yeah. So I'm just letting everybody know right now that that's kind of the goal of it. Not to upset because what's it?
Yeah, it's to make sure everyone else understands what is.
No, of course. So like for Ryan here, for example, Big Bonnet, he does great work at Club Fantasy. So I understand what he's trying to say. Just that not everybody here has their spot yet, and not everybody like it's just not like worst case scenario. If you already know your spot, I can just give those particular spots to you guys, and everyone else can be randomized. That's fine.
Yeah, just randomize randomize that one person, and then everything else. I mean, keep that one person there. We could random till they get to there, but We just want to make sure that's fair for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, no, of course. So, okay. So I will just tell you that for those who have the spot, excuse me, guys, I apologize for this. Those who have a spot, remember, this is just a quick mock.
Yeah, we're not going to do this too long.
We're not here to do this for like extended amount of period of time, guys. We are randomizing order just because,
just to make sure it's all even and people understand what's going on. That's the big thing.
That's all it's for. Yeah. So, anyways, let me go down to it, and it's been a while since I've done this on PC. I'm so used to freaking randomizing on my phones, but yeah.
Yeah, it's much better.
So
it's much better.
I will do that. I'll just ask whoever knows their spot, let me know. But honestly, I'll just randomize this 3 times. There we go. So that will be the randomized spot. If you guys are watching, just let me know. But like I said, it's just for everybody to get to understand what Fishbowl is. This is not like I will host mocks for everybody when we're not doing the podcast of whatever your spots are. I will happily do so. But just for the show, we're just going to do it this way. Okay.
Yeah, this is the one that makes most sense for our shows. And, let's get this started. Because, I want people to see what it is, and we want to bring more eyes to this. So that's why I want to make sure we're getting it going.
Super fast rookies.
Yep. All right. So I know. So we got 10 or 11 out of 12. That's fine. We can also just start it if you guys are ready. We can just go from there. Truthfully, if we got just another person, that'd be cool. But it's
no big deal.
It's just the way it is. And I'm sorry, Ryan. It's not exactly what you want, but we can always do that on our own time.
Yeah,
we're not doing a podcast.
This is about everyone else understanding what's going on, and I want to get this started because this is part of the show. So I want to make sure we get it. And you know what? You guys are going to have a lot more interesting things to say and teach us about this because there's a lot of stuff we don't know about, and understanding the scoring. And this is going to be a lot of fun. So whenever we get a chance, go ahead, go.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to start here where we at. We're at 9:26. I'll start as soon as it gets 9:27. We'll get good to go. I'm going to start it up. Yeah. Yeah, 1 minute to post time. Yep, perfect. All right, cool. All right, so I'm going to let everybody know we're starting, and we're good to go.
What strategy do you think people should have going into this? What's the most important thing to kind of think about for your strategy?
All right, here we go.
What do you even do?
What do you think, Alex? So you have to be able to do this, and I know you got to do it, and you got to talk about what you think is the best idea.
Receiver, quarterback. You got to go quarterback.
Alex,
oh, sorry. Sorry about that, guys. All right. So with this kind of scoring, the top end wide receivers are going to get a massive boost with a 2.5, PPR. That is crazy. With this scoring, actually, I feel like QBs, even though it's a super flex, will kind of take a back step just a little bit outside of like, of course, those like top 4 or 5. And you'll realize you kind of treating it almost kind of like you want to grab the top end running backs. You want to grab the top end tight ends. You want to grab the top end wide receivers early and just wait on quarterback. The quarterbacks are great because, with this scoring, they'll give you if they're number one, potentially 600 plus points. I mean, it's possible. But I personally believe that you should go for the best high-end running backs because what I did when I looked at the scoring and I ran the math, the data shows me that once you get to like RB16, RB18 range, the rest of the running backs are just going to.
That was exactly what I was going to do, Mark, because I think Gibbs is exactly what Alex is saying makes a lot of sense. And what you do, you want top-end talent still because these guys are going to get more every volume carries. So you want to have a great, and then tight end too makes a lot of sense because you have extra.
I was actually going to say Gibbs and Bowers. Not even gonna lie.
Yeah, no, because the way that this scoring is, so for people that don't know, like you said, 2.5 points PPR, an extra or tight end premium of 1 for an additional. So that's 3.5 plus a point if you either get a rushing first down or a receiving first down. So for tight ends, that's 4.5 points at least, or technically 4.6 because they need a yard.
Those curses are alive and well, Barkley.
So yes. So at the end of the day, it's actually really, really cool. It's really, really great, I think.
But a lot of guys are still going quarterback. I mean, we have Josh Allen that's going. Yes. We have Lamar Jackson. We have Jalen Hurts.
Like I said,
Daniels, Burrow. You're going to have different people that have different opinions, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So, like I said, so really those top end guys for running back are more so crucial, and then tight ends definitely. So running back and tight end, I think, should have the biggest run, and the fact that it hasn't yet is kind of a little crazy. But I guess if you really think about it, if PPR is 2.5 and tight ends are 3.5, it's really just a 1 point differential. So in that retrospect, if you got 2 top tight ends, then you're technically fine to fill out the rest of your roster if this was a normal league. But because this is best ball, you just want to think, I want the guys who will give me the most explosive plays and scoring going through the whole thing. So you might actually do like a 0 RB strategy where you decide to say, no, I don't want any of the RBs. Just give me all the high-end wide receivers and tight ends and QB, and I'll be fine. You could always do that too, because there's no set position. You're not forced to necessarily take a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. None of that. You can choose whatever you want. So that's
exactly what the 2 I wanted to get. I think this is really interesting because, I mean, you have to really decide which way you want to draft. You have to what your strategy is from the beginning, because you could go 0 running backs and really go hard on certain players. But volume makes a lot of sense. So that's why I see Derrick Henry going so far in the second round makes a lot of sense in itself too. I mean, you want to grab someone who's going to get a lot of volume.
Correct. You're not wrong there. I'm just thinking right now who I want, because there's some very good options here that would intrigue me, and I have to go think of. And there's no other guy that is literally, that will literally give you 1 million freaking points, or he'll bust you every week. Give it up for good old Devon A-Chain.
Oh man, yeah.
Literally, he is the epitome of a PPR machine running back.
I stay away from him like he's the plague, man. Because
and I understand, but when you're talking about best ball, you take your shots because his upside is freaking massive. So
it's interesting saying that, because the same will go for Tyreek Hill.
Exactly. No, exactly. You just go for those kinds of guys. That's why, again, I wanted A-Chain. I could have gone with Nico. Because Nico would have been probably like a safer pick because he'll get more targets, obviously, in the A-Chain. But A-Chain will get, the extra 0.5 for every rush attempt he gets. Let's not forget the fact that he is a PPR machine anyways. I mean, it's just good. I think if you're not going...
If Tua is healthy, he's going to get a lot of run. So, I mean, but it's definitely a risk, but it's a calculated risk that makes a lot of sense.
Correct. And that's just how I look at it. So now, again, it creates very interesting and diverse teams.
Yeah. I'm going to go different than my usual strategy. I'm going to try to do something that makes more sense for this draft. But yeah, this is interesting in itself.
Yes.
With these points special and these premiums.
Yes. And again, for everyone who's listening, I will do a bunch of these Scott Fishbowl mocks with everyone's draft spots and everything else. I will do that just later. For now, I'm glad to see so many interesting teams. Is there any team so far as we close out this second round here that sticks out to you guys, or that you think it could be interesting down the road?
I mean, it's so early right now. I do look at Gator Raiders because of Christian McCaffrey, and if he's good, Christian McCaffrey, that's a great team, especially with Puka, who gets a lot of volume catches too. Christian McCaffrey also could be one of those guys that don't do a lot for you. So it's 6 and 1, half a dozen the other. That's gonna be interesting to see what we get from it. Going 2 quarterbacks early, kind of can make sense too. Superflex, you're just saying they're going to give me a lot of points. I'm just going to go with them. But they all could balance out. So it's all interesting. What's your strategy?
Yeah, it all depends. And that's why we're getting a bunch of different looks here. Heck, maybe I should think about going quarterback with my next pick, because I got to think about which one would be left over. I mean, there's still also some really good PPR/volume guys at running back that it's just so tempting to get. So it's really, we just got to see. The third round is going to be really interesting, and we'll know because Scott is currently doing a live stream now, for those who are wondering, and he will reveal if it's third round reversal or not. For now, because we don't know, it's just normal, obviously, as we can see here. So going into the third round already. So if it is the round reversal, I will make sure to adjust that accordingly. But
anyone who's watching us, listening to us right now,
from here,
definitely subscribe on the Dynasty Pylon. We're going to we do fantasy drafts. Probably going to do at least 1 or 2 every week. We want to push the channel as much as we can, and we want to make sure you guys are a part of it. If you wanted us to do something that's different, we're all about it. This is why we're doing this. Oh man, Josh Jacobs. That's why I was actually thinking Josh Jacobs. That's interesting that you went that way. Man. I was thinking that's a volume guy. That's a volume guy.
This is tough because I have to decide between 3 players that I really, really want, because I know that the other 2 are not going to make it back to me. I already know they're not going to. So I have to think about realistically who's most likely to. And you know what? I think that this guy would be most likely to fit this roster perfectly, because he gets like a gazillion targets, and volume is king, and he has a new quarterback in town. So let's give it for Garrett Wilson.
That's a really smart pick. I gotta give that to you. I like that idea.
Yeah, because I already know the other 2 guys aren't going to make it, and the other 2 guys, I ain't going to say who they are because I don't want to get no sniped, but, it's going to be interesting.
Snipe!
And for guys who are just joining us, welcome to Dynasty Pylon. This is a wonderful show. Please write down in the comments below. I am reading them.
Definitely like and subscribe and join us. Yeah. But I want you guys to join us. It means we talk about these things in fantasy football. We're going to have strategies that we talk about on Sundays, usually trying different type of drafts. We'll do that during the season. We were there for all waiver wire pickups. And, honestly, Martin is a genius, especially with a lot of his IDP players. So we go through different type of things. So, but yeah, we wanted to try this draft. And we usually go through different not just sleeper, which sometimes we'll go ESPN, we go NFL, we go MFL. We'll try different type of things before the season to see which ones are the best draft ready. Ooh. Never mind. Gatorators, that was a great pick right there. That one I liked. And you got Travis Hunter and Breece Hall. That was epic. Great job.
And they all just went. Literally I still have one guy. One guy that's on my list.
I like what you guys just did, man. That was good.
Yes, but so that way people know. So we do all that, and I do my best to read the comments down below, so that way I can be able to see what people are saying. Anything that they want answered. I like to try to answer everybody because I want you guys also to feel like you're part of the crew. I think that's always important.
How do you feel about Bo Nix overall?
Bo Nix? Oh, well, I was very high on him.
The team is going Omari Hampton. I hate him. I wanted Omari Hampton.
Man, that's just such a risky thing for me to pick. But yeah, Omari Hampton would be great.
This is interesting. Yes, I went 2 tight ends. Yeah.
Well, that's fine. Like I said, and then Jackson Smith and Jigba might be a good nice little sleeper, but he's gone. That's fine. It was either going to be James Cook or it was going to be someone else, but I think I'll go for the boy George Kittle.
I like that. I like that strategy. Get another guy who's going to get a lot of balls, tight end premium. That makes a lot of sense.
Of course. And so for people who don't know, yes, it's Scott Fishbowl's tight end premium, where it's 3.5 points for overall for tight end because they get a tight end premium of 1. So PPR says 2.5 for those who are just joining in to us now. So the way I like to attack a draft, if it's just a simple 1 point, is if you get 2 tight ends early, if it's a normal draft, not best ball, then you're fine. Because at that point, you don't need to continue to corner the market unless you want to. But I have found that to make a well-rounded team that's not best ball related, getting 2 that are top tier in that kind of field is perfectly fine. And I've experimented with literally over 1,000 different mocks of different tight end premiums that are high from 1 to 3 points. So it varies depending on what the premium is.
And that makes a lot of sense to me, especially going into the NFL, what it is right now. You're getting a lot of tight ends that are high usage tight ends, and then you have some that are only touchdown machines. But the usage tight ends could be used also with the tight end premium points. So I like both thought processes of that. So that's interesting, man. I really think that's really interesting.
Yeah. So, but I see people who are going QBs. I'm clearly going for a late QB strat, so we'll see how that works out for me. There's anybody left, you know. But no, we'll just have to see, because I have a few guys that I'm really like. Ooh, perfect, man! That guy, the guy we're just talking.
Yeah, no, I have a couple of people on my thing and to see how that works. My problem is I don't know if it's going to come back to round to me, but you know, this could be interesting.
See, the problem is that this guy also heavily depends
on QB. Yep,
yeah.
On QB. So, I know exactly what you're looking at too. Yeah.
Yeah. I bet you do. It really depends.
It could be a great pick. It also could be a terrible pick because you don't know what the quarterbacks are going to do. And yeah, I'm glad they did get a backup quarterback now, but it's still tough, man. You know, you don't know if you want to put that out there again.
Yeah,
put it out. Jordan Love, DJ Moore.
Yeah. See, really? James Cook was a guy I was looking at.
Are you sure you like James Cook because you don't get the volume, and doesn't that scare you a little bit?
That's why it worries me a little bit, but I'm also looking at it as, you know, he also had over 200 carries last year anyways. And he's just been every year progressively getting better as a running back. So to me, I expect him to take another step forward. I just didn't pick him because, like, you know what, with this premium, George Kittle should outperform Cook because of this premium. And Mixon's also another good pick too as well. If you want to hoard all the running backs, that just leaves all the wide receivers and tight ends for me. So we'll see. Oh man,
because you don't have to get a running back, you know, as much as you want to, but you understand volume running backs make a lot of sense.
Oh man. You know what though? He might be the last really big workhorse back. We'll get a ton of
that's on my thing. I won't be so mad. I have
guys' thoughts on Rasheed Rice. Are we gonna be any good? Is he gonna get suspended?
F you, Alec. I think he will get suspended, but I don't believe it's going to be as long as we think it's going to be. I think we're talking about maybe it's as low as a 4-game suspension. And then that could change a lot of different things. So, you know, Rasheed Rice could still be a great pick.
Could be.
I almost picked him up. Only into the looming suspension, the injury he's coming out.
So I actually have a bit of news about Rasheed Rice, because you guys have already heard about the latest news about his court and whatnot, like the whole hearing and whatnot about the reckless driving and this and that.
Yep.
I love it for fantasy football because for the sheer fact that people are going to be fading more so him in drafts just a little bit. His ADP is going to dip a little bit. And if you're playing super flex, it may affect some of the opinions of some people picking Patrick Mahomes where he should go, but they might instead say, you know what? I don't know if Kelsey still got anything left in him. You know, Mahomes hasn't proven to be an elite fantasy football quarterback in years. I think I'll just pass and get somebody else. So someone else will reap the benefits. So I kind of love it from that perspective, because I don't think Rice is going anywhere. I think he will.
You think he plays the entire season?
Just fine. He will come into this. I don't think he'll get suspended at all. I just don't see it happening. And you can clip it now, and if I'm wrong, I'll admit it.
It's just the reckless driving. I would say no suspension, but the fact that he left.
Yeah, left the scene in the crime, and that's where I was like, I don't know, man.
Well, like I said, I'm not too worried because we saw this happen. Like guys, the NFL is so wish-washy with how they do these punishments.
That's, I mean, that's true.
You're not wrong.
So look at Kamara. For all the years that we were worried about him missing games and whatnot, it really wasn't that bad. I don't know. That's just how it
was. You're not wrong. But that might be a great pick, especially this year, especially now with how the Cowboys have that second wide receiver. That team might do much better than we thought going into this season.
Until he goes crazy.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, he's going to go crazy. That's fine.
Well, you know what happens when Steeler receivers leave Pittsburgh? It's not great.
But you can have one great year. You could.
This is true.
Good.
This is not Dynasty.
J.J. McCarthy.
Interesting. Look, Rasheed Rice. There he goes.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, guys, if you guys got any questions, I am reading both the Sleeper and the YouTube chat. Fire away. I'm more than happy to answer them.
Fire away.
We've all have very good, years and years of experience when it comes to fantasy football. I just am the mad scientist who does so many random scoring things that, to me, this feels like home. So
seeing how this is interesting, the way it's jumping back and forth. You really have to keep your head on a swivel, knowing what guy could be a good person for you. So even jumping and grabbing a quarterback early and then having a guy who might not be a great quarterback, better than the other one, but could get the amount of points that you want.
Correct.
Could be interesting going forward. So that's why when Alex says he's thinking about getting a quarterback late, makes a lot of sense to me. I don't even normally do. I usually go round 6. I'm looking at
quarterback. Especially in a super flex, that's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
A lot of these guys.
I'm just trying to find them. Let's see here. I think I know who I want for my next pick, so I'm fine.
Do you though?
I do, and it just depends on if anybody. I swear, if the 2 players that I want gets tonight, I'll just quit my career in fantasy football and then just call it a day. All right, no, that's fine. Jared Goff is fine. Damn, I have to scroll down hella far to find QBs now. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's why I was like, do I really trust Drake May? No. Do I really trust Trevor Lawrence? No, not really.
You should have Drake May and Trevor Lawrence.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Chris Olave is going to be healthy by the start of the season or no?
No, and I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Olave gets traded sometime during the season.
Traded, retired.
One of the two, right?
I would be surprised if he retires. Yeah.
Well, people rather retire than this mother effer. Come on, man.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So he's trying to get all the best tight ends and then make you have to come to him if you need one.
Yes.
His best ball, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
He doesn't even have to choose anyone. So he could just say, I'm going to go with this guy.
Yeah, and I'm actually gonna try to find the QBs now because I'm trying to think of who's left that's actually like a
Bryce Young
QB.
and Cam Ward. So that's so I think
I might just have to look up. I just might need to actually look at my I might need to look on my phone because it's so weird how it's so much easier to find players on my phone. Oh, there we go. Never mind. I don't need to do that. Screw my phone. Get out of here.
So right. Just get Montgomery, and that way I'll just root for whoever's on the field for the Lions.
What we doing with Pittman, guys? Ooh. What do you think about Pittman going forward, knowing who quarterback is for the Indianapolis Colts?
Oh, no, we can't be Roma Dunze, and I'm on auto pick now.
Damn, and Shia's freaking. So the question was about Pittman, right? Asking for a friend. I wonder who.
What do you think about?
So what do you?
Could have taken David Montgomery.
I mean, Pittman. I mean,
Took too much time. That's
what we doing with Pittman? I mean, that's a good question. I'm not exactly 100% sure what I would do with Pittman. I mean, if you're trying to trade away him, I'm not 100% sure what I would value him as, because I don't know who the quarterback is going to be for the freaking Colts. Like their whole situation is pretty messed up right now. And unless Anthony Richardson proves that he can be the starter, it's really hard to value, because his number one wide receiver last year, to my knowledge, most because I had him fancy, was Josh Downs.
And Downs is the most consistent one with the best hands.
Yes,
but couldn't score. So and that was the problem with the entire team.
Picking Kelsey, how dare you? I thought about it. I thought about it. I know. I thought about it. But
Hey,
I already have 3 of them. It's fine.
you know
what? There's a couple.
you did it last mock. I did it this mock.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah. That is
you
crazy,
guys like
though.
any of the later round running backs going forward? What do you think? I do. There's like Caleb Johnson. I think is going to could be a steal. I hate that I'm saying this so early, much further before my pick, but I think Caleb Johnson is really interesting because he could be a workhorse back, especially in that Pittsburgh offense, because you don't have anything else right now. And even if you have an older quarterback, even if it's Aaron Rodgers, you're going to have to run the ball a lot. And I think
that's who I was actually choosing between, was Johnson and Kelsey.
Because Caleb Johnson could be more than Warren. I mean,
I already had Trayvon Henderson, so
yeah, which I worry about him with that team too. So
I do.
So he's trying to get all the Titans.
He'll be a shifty, kind of catch the ball out of the backfield. So that's kind of
he definitely can.
And by the way, the only reason why is because it's best ball. If this was a normal league where it's not best ball, I would have stopped at probably either Hawk or Kittle, and I just would have flushed out the rest of my roster.
No, you said I'm taking all the Titans.
Pretty much.
Here's my Infinity Gauntlet. I'm only 3 away. 4 away. 2 away from finishing.
Yeah. Well, I jokingly told Scott that I was going to take like 8 or plus tight ends just for fun and see what happens, Like, I mean, it's just such a good
teams will have to come to you. They will have to come to you to get the stuff to go, to get the tight ends they want.
Plus, I'll be honest, when you compare Mark Andrews and to like Xavier Worthy, I mean, Xavier Worthy, how many touches will he really get if Rashid Rice is there? And same with Devontae Smith. Like the only one on this list.
Smith, you do know how many Devontae Smith? You should know how many receptions does he have? Does he usually get?
I mean, no. I mean, the Devontae Smith. It's funny because him and AJ Brown did not have the best year, but that's only because of a guy named Barkley. A certain somebody named Barkley just happened to run there. But no, he
averages usually over 100 targets.
He does, season. But he didn't last season. He only had 89 targets
because they didn't they didn't throw the ball much. They might have to throw the ball
with the Madden curse.
The Offensive Player of the Year curse.
But
I'm less over
17th overall pick in the draft.
I'll just say it now for everybody because I don't care if it gets sniped or not. I really don't. But the only of the list between Worthy, Smith, Metcalf, Flowers, Pickens, and Devontae Adams and Jordan Addison, out of all those guys, the only guy I really would like is Jordan Addison. Because Jordan Addison has proven that even with homeboy JJ there, he still gets roughly around 100.
This is because they threw the ball so much. I don't know if a rookie quarterback's going to be able to do the same thing. That's why I do worry about a rookie quarterback being able to do that.
It looks like the QBs will be there for me. That's actually pretty sick.
Well, you have Tua and Bryce Young and Penix.
I mean, there's a lot there for me.
Geno Smith. So
exactly. There's a lot of options, and actually, ironically, the first one I will pick is actually going to be one of those guys. The real question is, do I trust Tua's health? Do I trust him to actually do what he needs to do? I mean, there will be weeks where if he throws it to A-Chain, break off big touchdown, that would be pretty cool. And then Penix might surprise people. Penix might be a good like sleeper kind of like pick there, but I think
I'm not sure about Penix right now.
You're not sure?
Because I don't know if the team's going to be able to do what they did. I wouldn't be surprised if Kirk Cousins stays on that team, that Kirk Cousins does get a run sometime. Oh, you still haven't picked yet?
No, hold on. I'll always pick quarterback.
3, 2, 1. I was say, oh no.
I'll pick 2. Yeah, no. I was looking for a different player, but I realized that somebody I think already picked him.
The guys that I think are interesting always is Matt Stafford and Geno Smith, along with Sam Darnold. All 3 of those guys could be something.
Huh. Oh, he is still there. That's funny. Okay. I just typed in his name. But that's fine. I'll take Tua. Even though he's Mr. Concussion himself, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean,
don't worry about it.
You said best ball, maybe works.
Yeah, well, because the best ball, I said. And to answer a question that I once got, I think last year, was, does it make sense to do stacks? Do you guys think it makes sense to do stacks in best ball leagues? We understand Dynasty and redraft and keeper leagues and how great they can be. But in best ball, do you ever think about, I should just try to get that because of those weeks that they both go off together?
Yes,
what's
actually,
your guys' take on it?
I think you could definitely benefit from stacks, especially if it's the right type of stack. Especially when you talk about if it's a quarterback tight end stack, I think that's a really good idea and a really good way to try stuff.
Yeah. What about you, Mark?
Well, I mean, I like the tight end quarterback stack. That's why I got Mahomes and Kelsey.
But it's less the wide receiver one because it doesn't matter as much because if you have a good wide receiver, kind of, it goes in the wash. But being tight end premium, I think that does help a little bit more, and that's why you look for that type of stack.
Mm-hmm. I mean, so my answer to this is the same way that I looked at back when I was doing a bunch of best ball. I say it depends on, because we're not talking about like an elite quarterback for a second. So if it's an elite quarterback, this is a different conversation. But if it's a good to great kind of quarterback, damn you, Shia. Screw you. I want Ingram. That's fine. But if it's just like a good to great quarterback, not elite, I think that you don't have to try to force the stack. I think that it's good to, in theory, to have, but you should always go for the best player that fits the scoring first. And if the stack falls to you around later, then you should take it. So if you would normally take, let's say I normally take Tua, let's say in the 9th round, let's say hypothetically, and let's say that I took Hill earlier, then for me, I would think, okay, if I took, the idea would to take Tua in the 9th round, but there's someone else there that I want that fits a different positional advantage, I'll take that first. Then I'll grab Tua if he's there in the 10th round. That's kind of how I sometimes.
But that's how it always goes for anything, right? But if you, for a draft individual, but if you are going with higher running backs and wide receivers, your strategy is I'm gonna go with the better players in the first 6 rounds, and then my 7th round, if I grab a tight end, and then in my 8th round, I grab his stack at quarterback, and I still have a good quarterback along with a very good tight end that's going to get a lot of receptions. I feel like that's an advantage. And I think that's a smarter way to play, even if you're going to draft. Let's say it's you're drafting Kyler Murray. All right. Yeah. You got McBride early, right? And Kyler Murray's coming out, and you're around the 7th round, and it might be a little early to grab Kyler Murray, but it might be smarter to grab him because of what you already got, and McBride being a top end tight end. So when you have a top end player going with it, especially with tight end premium, I think it's smarter to do that way.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Like I said, it all depends on what we're talking here, especially with best ball, what the scoring really is. But at the end of the day, you go and get your ball. That's ultimately what matters. I just have a certain formula where it depends. Like if it's super flex, I like to pretend. And I actually learned this strategy from a guy who does underdog, and he does a lot of best balls for underdog. He's a great guy. I can't wait to eventually meet him, but he always believed when it came to best ball, if you're doing super flex, take away the first round that you do QB or like the second round you do QB. So if super flex, let's say the first 2 rounds you go QB, you take away, like you blindfold yourself on the first 2 rounds. Then you look at the rest of your draft and think, okay, if I was drafting for a 1 QB league, would this be a championship roster? And if you say yes, then you reveal what your 2 QBs were. And then you're like, okay, perfect. I have a winning roster. That's how he would look at things. And when I tried that strategy with just normal super flex, I realized it actually kind of benefited me because then I stopped worrying so hard about getting 2 QBs very early. I started just focusing on getting the one guy that I really wanted, and then the rest just build the roster. And now I kind of look at super flex differently. Instead of being the guy who says you got to get 2 QBs by the first 3 rounds. Now I look at it as let the board fall to you, and you go from there. And sometimes I'm taking my second QB in the 4th, 5th, 6th round, or in a best ball league like this, I took it all the way where the 8th round. So, yeah.
You're saying these things. What's interesting to me is I think about Martin, and Martin has been doing that for a long time, a lot of years, doing that specific thing, thinking about saying I'm going to get more points doing it this way than I would another way. And
correct.
Getting better talent is always the better decision. Always.
Mm-hmm.
So I always think that's the way you should always lean. Look for the great talent, and then look for your guy. So it's just me though. What about you, Mark?
I mean, I think it kind of varies on your draft position.
But how do you feel about the stack idea, though?
I mean, I've always been kind of in favor of the stack, but I'm also kind of with Alec, where I'm not trying to force it. If it happens like organically as I'm going through what's best for when I'm drafting, it might have a little bit of influence on me if I'm trying to decide between 2 players.
Mm-hmm. But would you draft someone earlier? So, like, let's say let's say it's you have what's his name?
Actually, I know who I want.
You have Sam Laporta, and Jared Goff is not really someone you want until the 8th round, and you're in the 7th round. Would you draft him early?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If that's what I said, it depends. Like if I have Sam Laporta, and then depending on what's also there in the 7th, I might be intrigued to get Jared Goff maybe around early.
I think
but it also depends on what's there.
Yeah,
because like you said, if someone fell, way further than you ever thought they would, and he's sitting there, it'd be hard for me to. I mean, I can't think of an example off the top of my head. But.
So, oddly enough, how do you guys feel about Diggs? Because I'm thinking about taking him right here.
Honestly,
how do y'all feel about him?
I think that he's going to end up being their number 1 wide receiver. If that team, the Patriots, start to, let's just put a number out there. If they win 7 games, it's going to be because they found a balanced offense, and they're going to run the ball. That's not a question. But you really have to, if they learn how to throw the ball, and you go with someone who's a steady guy who's helped build quarterbacks before, Stephon Diggs could have a big year. He might end up being a very good pick overall, and surprise a lot of teams.
Yeah. What about you, Mark? How do you feel about him?
I feel like everything Brian said could happen, but also I don't know. I'm a little cautious of Diggs just because of how many teams he's also going down.
Oh, for sure.
And this is a young team.
I mean, there's got to be a reason why he gets to a team. I mean, I'm going to exclude the Texans a little bit because I think going in, they knew they were only going to have him for a year. Like they redid his contract and everything. But you look at like the Vikings, he outstayed his welcome. I just don't think they wanted him there. And then the Bills, the same thing. They're like, yeah, we're good. We don't need you. Now, he could have a great year this year. So redrafts, I think Diggs could be something, but Trevor Lawrence. Okay. Come on down.
It's funny because you got Tua and Geno for me. Like that's exactly what I told you to grab. I said, hey, you get Tua and Geno. Exactly
yeah, I know. Is that funny? Yeah, no. Well, I was thinking about it, and originally I wanted to get Ingram, but when I typed up his name on my computer, it didn't pop up at first. It's like, what? And then my dumbass had to go from flex to putting all. Once I could select all, magically he appeared. So I was like, excuse me, freaking excuse me. But it's fine because Tua, I'll take the upside risk. Same with Diggs. I'll be fine with that because this is best ball. You just take the shot when it's this late. And remember, we're not doing the full thing.
This is not the full thing. Exactly.
I will personally set that up for everybody who's wanting to do the full actual mock of this, and I'll set the timer to like 30 seconds. That way it goes by fast because, I just want everybody to be able to enjoy that. And I already know who I'm picking with my last pick because I bet you none of these guys are on anybody's list right now. At least
I have 2 guys that are on my list that I think if they follow me, I'm happy with.
I have 4 guys right now. In fact, I might add a 5th one because to me, the later rounds, and I'll explain that once it gets to my pick, that way no one snipes my guys.
That's why I don't want to say anything. Like I'm looking at them like, hey, man, that could be a good pick, but I'm not going to tell you.
I will say a sleeper pick would be somebody like Kyle Pitts because now it's a rookie QB.
F you.
And typically rookie
it's on my list.
Loved. It's on your list, That's a shame.
Oh, no.
Hey, I had him queued up, my guys. I had him queued up.
I've had you. Oh my God.
I had him queued up already.
Knocked him out the field. Oh,
so the young quarterback.
He was on my list too.
He kind of liked him towards the end of last season, and to get him this late, I was like, I'll take it.
Damn it! I literally had Kyle Pitts and Ferguson on my list.
I did too. That was the other person.
I did too. I also have.
I also had Dallas Goedert, but that was like
I have Dallas Goedert on my list too. I'm literally down.
That was worst case scenario. Was Dallas Goedert?
Breaking case of
why not chase the upside of that? Why not chase the upside of this player? Because. What I was trying to say is usually the last 2 rounds, think about getting tight ends, but I will pick the one guy that no one's talking about, Zachary Ertz.
Hey, that's
let's
not a bad
go.
Pick.
It's not a bad pick for the last one. So, guys, just so you know, when it comes to this kind of scoring, I highly recommend that the last 2 rounds you think about going just tight ends because of their premium. Because once you get this late, all the wide receiver 2s and 3s are not going to outscore them. They will simply not. In fact, in any major, huge tight end premium, 1 to 3, I promise you, going super late on wide receivers, unless there's some funky scoring going on in your league, for that tight end premium, get the late tight ends. You will be thankful because they will outproduce those guys who are more well known.
Look at my draft. Look at my last.
Yeah,
exactly.
Last
4, last 3,
last 4, your last
4 out of 5.
Yeah. So that was just great. I only picked Diggs because to me, Diggs was literally the last solid wide receiver who can be a wide receiver 1. So to me, it was no brainer. And then, of course, I wanted Ferguson, but the fact that the auto draft took it from me, I was like, all right, that's fine. I had Zach Ertz, Hunter Henry on my list, and I also had Chig Okonkwo, and then I also had Tyler Conklin.
I'm never going Conklin. I'm never going.
Yeah.
If any of those, if Kyle Pitts, Ferguson, or Ertz were going to fall to me, I was going to grab one of them. But with Cooper Kupp, knowing at the end of the day, Cooper Kupp could still play just because he had an injury last year. He might get still a lot of targets. So I'm going to throw it in there. Who gives a crap? Whatever happens, happens.
So I round up with 2, 3, 4, 5 tight ends, and I'm pretty happy with them actually because they're all pretty damn good. So I'm happy with that.
I got 4 tight ends. I don't mind the ones I got.
No, definitely not because
that's where I got.
Yeah, you got them good. I mean, Kelsey could be a great one. Kincaid, Kraft, and I love it.
See, the last 2 picks, I was going back and forth between running backs, but I'm like, these could be top tier running backs if certain things happen.
You don't even need
those things are going to happen
with the scoring. You don't need anything in particular. So that's why I was like, you just go with what you think.
And then I'm like, but these are starting tight ends that I know will get the balls.
Here.
That's
not wrong.
Why I did it.
Not wrong at all.
Although we can switch one thing because I did not roll Madonze. That was stupid. To be fair, David Montgomery. Move David Montgomery one over. That's who I was trying to get.
That's it.
All right, let's look at these teams real quick and then kind of go from there. First one we'll look at is.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you sound good. Let's look at Shia LaBeouf. All right.
Why did that happen?
What happened?
Weird. Well, what happened? I somehow muted myself. So I couldn't hear nobody. I was like, wait, what's going on? Hello?
He thought he was deaf when he unplugged his headphones. That's what happened.
Must be.
How do you think Godwin would be? Will he be good despite the injury? I don't think so this season.
I see, and I think he won't be terrible. I think he'll be probably around middle of the pack. He has a lot of talent. Mm-hmm. But
the other issue too with Godwin is if he's not healthy, he might not have a job.
Because Ibuka could be, that number 2. I mean, there's a lot of things that could go wrong.
There's Ibuka, there's McMillan, who they like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
let me.
I like Godwin.
So I don't have any tight ends. Kent still have any tight ends, and then you said, why don't you think Diggs is the number 1? He's better than the whole core there. I do believe Diggs is number 1.
No, I do believe he is too. I just hope he doesn't tear that team apart from the inside.
Inside out. Gotcha.
So Chris Godwin has a contract through the 2028 season. And he has $44 million guaranteed. Yeah.
Yeah, he just signed
it.
He just signed it. Yeah.
So then it's kind of odd to me because
so that's it's really a 1-year contract. When you break
but why would you trade him? Because you just signed him to a big contract.
Yeah, but it's a 1-year contract basically. And all the money, all the guaranteed money will be gone after the first year. So
so after this year.
Yeah, so after this year, you go through this entire year. The next year, he's hurt still, so he might not be ready at the beginning of the season. And then because of his production, you might see him at the end of this season. Towards the end, you could, especially dynasty wise, you might want to trade him.
Mm-hmm.
Might be a problem. All right,
let's
look at Shia LaBeouf real quick, guys. We got
because he went volume to the max for running back.
He really did, guys. That's interesting. So Josh Allen, Bucky Irving, Bo Nix, James Cook, Mixon, Montgomery, Connor, Robinson, Evan Ingram, Shakir, and Shaheed. What do you guys think about
he's like Connor for me. I had him queued up and everything.
I think he went for high dollar QB. Mm-hmm. And usually if you're like in the 1 to 4 spot,
can you take Bo Nix a little early?
Well, no. For super flex, I say no. But for like a 1 QB, sure. But it's in best ball.
Just because you could have had Baker, who was a top 5 last year,
right?
No, Herbert was
for sure.
There. Obviously, Mahomes was there. Jordan Love.
But typically speaking, if you're in the 1 to 4 spot in a super flex, it's a good spot to go 2 early QBs, generally speaking. And plus, it looks like he's just following the scoring.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but the question is Bo Nix a better fantasy quarterback than I
wasn't talking about the position per se. I was just saying who else was available in that spot.
Kyler Murray or Justin Herbert,
Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott,
Mahomes. Is he a better?
It could be a sleeper. Bo Nix could go off. I'm just saying. There's just other people.
I mean, he went off last year when everybody kept on sleeping on him. When I kept yelling, beating my chest like a Cherokee drum, saying Bo Nix is going to be a top 10 fantasy QB first year, and everybody laughed at me.
Yeah, that's fine. He was picked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He was picked 6 overall. You think he's going to be a top
6th best quarterback in the NFL?
Is he a top 6 quarterback?
He's not Baker Mayfield, who in most
right now
top 5, top
in the NFL, the way that their offense works, because you have to look at scheming. I'm a big scheme guy, so I think the way that they have him, his second year, I don't expect him to be a top 6er. No, but I still think he can easily finish inside the top 10. I think 8 is the ceiling for
Top 10 is not a problem. It's funny because you said 8. I'm at 9.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at 9. I'm not far from you. I think if you're going to say it's probably right because I'm at 9 for Bo Nix.
Yeah, so to me, I have him inside top 10, despite a lot of people are worried about his age. Even in Dynasty, someone mentioned to me, oh, well, Bo Nix's age, he's older than the other rookie quarterbacks. And like, so? Like, I get it, but if the talent's there,
Jane Daniels is the same thing. Because the way I have my quarterbacks, I had Josh, Lamar, Jane Daniels, Hurts, Burrow. I have Mayfield 6. And then Mahomes 7, Kyler Murray, I have 8, and then I got Bo Nix.
That's what I'm saying. He could have had Mayfield. He could have had. I'm saying Mayfield's the biggest argument I'm making, just because he has weapons. His offensive line.
Oh no, for sure.
Mayfield and Mahomes.
He could have had Baker Mayfield, and he chose Bo Nix.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's great for you though, because you got Baker Mayfield. So
no, I got Baker Mayfield. Yeah, he got Patrick Mahomes.
I didn't. I got Patrick.
All in all, it's not a bad pick. It just might be a little early for Bo Nix.
That was the only question. It's a little early. Not that it's not a bad pick. It's not a bad pick.
But I think if that's his guy, then that's his guy. But let's talk about the string of running backs he took. Mm-hmm. I mean, did he take them purely because of the carries or purely for the touchdown upside that they can all bring? What do you guys think?
Well, each one's different, right? I mean, because James Cook is definitely not for the touchdowns, right? James Cook is not going to get a lot of touchdowns. That's just what it is. But Bucky Irving could be a volume guy, but he still has another guy in the backfield with him.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon, I have is my 15th ranked running back overall. David Montgomery, I have him at 16. So Brian Robinson is going to get a lot of carries. So that's more of a volume guy. So, I mean, I don't hate
the offensive line's better, so he can actually go more than 2 yards.
I mean,
I don't hate what he did.
See, I think in the 5th round, Joe Mixon was perfect because to me, Joe Mixon, he is a good, solid PPR running back. And for a scoring stand like this, I mean, last year, guys, he almost had 250 rushing attempts. That's really good. Now, the only thing that kind of sucked for him is him having only a total receiving and rushing, only 12 touchdowns in total, because it actually brought him down. Well, plus the fact he missed some games too. I mean, that also is a thing. But if you look at his stats, it's really not bad. Joe Mixon, despite him getting up there in the running back dead, because everyone always worried by the time they're 28, 29, that they're going to fall off a cliff. But Mixon, I mean, I just love the pick there. And Monty, to follow it up, I think is just solid because we all know what.
Good, yeah.
To be fair, I should have had one.
Yeah, no, they're all solid for the scoring. The Brian Robinson one is the only one that I'm kind of worried about. I feel like you could have done something different than Brian Robinson, but that's just me. I don't want to shit on anyone's team too hard. I know that's kind of my shtick. I make fun a little bit, but overall, he went for the running back upside and said, with the points there, I want him. So I
don't think that's even a problem either. Brian Robinson is still going to have a lot of carries. It's the volume that you look at with him, and I think that it makes sense. It makes sense still.
Right. And then after that, he followed up with Ingram, Shakir, which I do like the Shakir pick. That's the other last probably remaining wide receiver that you can make an argument for. And then Rashid Shaheed, I don't know. Since there's no return yards, I'm kind of off of him, but sure.
Would you gotta find out who the quarterback's going to be, because you never know what Rashid is being. And really, Shakir is really the wide receiver number 1 over there in Buffalo. So
for sure, because Chris Olave is not. I mean, he should be
definitely not. And then you look at Buffalo, it's the same thing. So both these guys could end up being wide receiver 1s for that team.
They could be. Plus, and it's a shame for Chris Olave too, because I really liked him as a prospect. But hasn't he had like 3 concussions already?
Yes.
So it's
Mark talks about it all the time.
Yeah, so that's just unfortunate for him, because if he gets one more, like, he should just quit the NFL. And I hate saying that for a player, but you have to think of your health at that point. That's
no one's going to do that. I don't think anyone's going to quit, but I agree that you have to watch out.
Get him on to the Jets. Can we just put the Ohio State team on the
Jets? Yeah.
That's why I'm surprised J.K. Dobbins didn't get to go to the Jets.
Right.
All right.
You know what I realized?
What's up?
I think our 3 teams combined, we have the top 11 tight ends. I mean,
100%.
I was like, holy shit, we got all the tight ends.
Yeah. So which team do you guys want to talk about next? And guys, if you are here, let us know which team you are. We'll look at your team. And I'll try my best not to roast you too hard.
No, I mean, it's fun. I mean, I think everyone should be able to talk about their team in good fun and not worry about it. Because it's not, it's just talking about what strategy you're doing. Was in the right strategy? Were there better players available? That's all you're talking about. So we got Boomer 690. He went with Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Nico Collins, JSN, Alvin Kamara, Mike Evans, Xavier Worthy, Drake May, Godwin, Myers, and which Williams is this?
That's a good question.
That's my question right now. That's why I was looking like I don't know which Williams that is.
Let me take a look at Boomer's team. And this is Kyle Williams. He's a rookie.
Kyle Williams. The Patriots guy. Kyle Williams.
I don't know.
They have him ranked as a second or third wide receiver, if I remember.
Yeah, I don't fully know, but maybe Boomer knows something that we don't.
Yeah, maybe.
Way 89. Get perfect. Where's your?
You're getting JSN.
Well, we'll do a way 89 next. So we're looking at this, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What'd you say, Mark?
JSN in the fourth. That's pretty nice.
That's a number one wide receiver, just like Nico Collins, the number one wide receiver, just like Mike Evans, the number one wide receiver.
Yes.
Mike Evans in the freaking sixth.
And by the way, guys, just to reiterate,
Worthy, I don't think he will, but could be.
No, I agree. I don't think Worthy will be, but Worthy can give you those big plays, and that can matter in best ball.
Not only that, but
those guys for
run the ball, the screen passes that can turn into huge plays.
Yeah, and this scoring part thing, right? You're looking at, as you said, the big plays, the guys who can be top ends in any week. And Mark, we've had multiple weeks so Xavier Worthy, as you said, run the ball in the round, catch a touchdown, and then get a little scat in the middle of the field, and next he's gone. So he might only have 4 receptions, and it might be 3 touchdowns in 3 different ways.
Don't sleep on his second to last pick too, because I'm pretty sure that's why. Yes,
you're right. It's the number one.
That's not a bad pick either.
For sure. I mean, I love the Nico and the JSN pick. And that's why I was debating between Nico and Garrett Wilson. That's why at the end of the day I picked Garrett Wilson, because I know he's a target machine. But Nico's perfect. Jason, I love. Mike Evans, I mean, in fantasy, he's a wide receiver too. But, man, is he so reliable. And even in best ball, you sometimes want the guy who's reliable, just not the guy who will consistently get you 8 or 10 points a week. You want a guy who will explode. But the fallback is 10, 11 points at the worst. Where at the best, he can go off for 20 plus. And Mike Evans surely could do that some weeks. Drake May, I mean, he picked him there probably because no one else was picking him, to be honest. I mean, he fell so low because that offense is going to be not outside of Diggs. Like you pick May purely because you are planning to get Diggs, because that would make some more sort of sense if you're going that late for a stack, because then that total sense. But
or you just really believe in New England. I mean, look at his last Kyle Williams, his last pick.
Well, I guess technically he did have 54 rushing attempts his rookie year, so maybe they're expecting him to get somewhere between 50 rushing attempts, and maybe it will get that upside there. But yeah, my thoughts on the team. I think it's a solid overall team. I think his big boomer bust players are literally from round 1 to 7. And then he's taking shots at 8, 9, and 10. And then 11, I mean, I don't know too much about the guy, so I don't know. He's
definitely a Patriots fan. So I'm a Pats fan also, so I had to take my boy.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes some sense. That makes some sense.
It does bring up something, though. I don't have any tight ends.
Exactly.
And the guy that I
saw to get it when the 2 guys around you.
Now this makes sense. Yeah. Well, you should have picked Diggs, my boy. That's on you, big dog. Don't make that mistake again. Not when I'm here.
All right, we're going away 89. I think this is an interesting team. Let's talk about this. So we have Ashton Genty going number 1. Malik Neighbors. Ooh, that's a guy who's going to get a lot of catches.
Oh, for sure.
Along with McConkey might. Oh my goodness, he literally is the Cooper Cup of now. All the damn passes. We got Williams from Detroit, and RJ Harvey. We got Brock Purdy, We got Johnson, who I wanted to grab, so I think that's a really good pick again. Then he went in Njoku and Likely who could have a huge upside. And Njoku, we don't know who the quarterback's going to be, but he's probably going to be a safety net for whoever that is. Then Stafford, and we got Harris. Okay. What do you think about that? Harris. All right, Harris. Okay.
Man, this is the most well-rounded, crafted team that I like. And I want to love the Likely pick so badly. But because Mark Andrews is still there just for this year that we know of, and maybe he gets traded. Maybe he does. So you know, if he gets traded, then this is freaking just out of the rocket ship, to the moon, all that jazz. Because it's literally volume with most of these picks here, and then upside.
He doesn't block. He doesn't do any of the other things.
Like. Even Jameson Williams, he'll have those weeks where he'll just go off, and that's why
he's big boom bust. Yeah,
exactly, and that's what you want to do in best ball. Use some of those guys.
So those are the guys to get. Yeah, when you go off, you got them in there.
And I love that.
Go to the bench. You don't have to worry about having to play on the right week.
No, and that's why. And then I love the QB picks he did, where he got them, even in super flex, because again, Purdy. Overall, just a solid overall QB. I mean, that just can be stated right now for fantasy speaking. He's just solid all around. And then Stafford is great for a late pick.
Matthew Stafford's late pick is a great pick.
Oh, no, for sure. The only pick that worries me is the Likely thing because we saw him have great weeks to start the year, and then Mark Andrews became Mark Andrews again, and then Likely was just pushed to the side.
Well, they were like, this left tackle can catch the ball. Well, except for the last play. But. We won't get into that one, I guess.
Oh my God, he's literally the reason why we got that pick in the damn Super Bowl. He's literally the reason.
Man, I bet Oweh would have been salivating if he had both Trey Harris and McConkey, and then he somehow got let's say in the 5th round, let's say Justin Herbert. He probably would have been so happy to have that because then that kind of stack with guys who can get you volume, that would have been just killer.
McConkey's nuts. Yeah,
I know. So
we could have had him in the 4th round.
And by the way, Conkey was one of the guys I was thinking about getting back when I was picking Garrett Wilson. It was between Garrett Wilson, Nico, AJ Brown, and Conkey. Those were the 4 I was heavily
very
debating.
Similar.
Oh, it's funny because I was choosing between Patrick Mahomes and not even one.
Yeah. So overall, you did a fantastic job. And I love the Genty pick as the first pick because he's going to eat 300 plus carries. Let's ride.
We hope. You hope.
And I know I do because
as soon as he gets an ankle injury, you're gonna be like, I can't believe I did it.
Stop it. He's not on the Madden cover. Leave him alone, okay? Yeah.
He's definitely about the volume. Thank you, guys. Yeah, 100%. You want to find guys that are going to get a lot of catches. That makes a lot of sense. And I think this, especially in this draft. All right, let's go to Gator Raiders. Let's look at this team.
Yeah, because he got Travis Hunter in the 3rd round.
I love the Travis Hunter. I love the Justin Fields. I love the Mark McCarthy. I think these are high upside guys that could also be boom or bust. Like this could be a terrible team or be a great team. So
it depends on the week. Yeah.
One week he could probably score, 50 points, and then the next season 300.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So number 1, you got Puka Nacua. Can anyone complain about that?
No.
Come on. Christian McCaffrey, Travis Hunter in the 3rd round, which is awesome. Breece Hall in the 4th round. I think that's a hidden gem right there.
People are sleeping on him, and they're going to pay when they lose their fantasy week to him.
I've been saying this for weeks now. Every time we do a mock draft, Breece Hall is going to kick ass this year with Justin Fields in that backfield. Yeah. Speaking of who's in the backfield, Justin Fields is the next pick he makes.
Yeah.
With JJ McCarthy after that. Then we got looking at Swift, who could be interesting in himself too. He could be boom or bust. He could also be, traded. So who knows what the hell we're gonna get out of him.
Very true. How do you feel about Ridley though?
Calvin Ridley is another guy that gets a lot of targets and a lot of passes. He won't score touchdowns at all. But if you're looking for volume catches and volume targets,
the number 1 guy, I think. The
problem is can the quarterback get the ball to him?
Yeah. Last year he had 120 targets. So the only downside was him only having 4 touchdowns. But touchdowns are
no touchdowns. The problem is Cam Ward.
For a wide receiver, so that's not always the fair.
Cam Ward gonna be able to throw him the ball? Do you guys, either one of you guys think Cam Ward's going to be the guy to get him the ball enough times?
If he becomes his number one guy, like what I've noticed when I've done research on rookie quarterbacks is that their number ones that they love throwing to, depends on scheme most of the time, but they usually love the big-bodied wide receiver or the big tight end. That's usually who they go to when they're in the rookie season. But if they spend a lot of time in camp and even after practice together, bonding, trying to build that chemistry, I could see them definitely just slinging the rock a majority of times to Ridley. But that's the thing about rookies. That's something that has to be developed as the season progresses, and they have to start it now. If they don't start it now, then Ridley will just continue to be where he is now. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And then we got Travis Etienne and Najee Harris at running back, and then Pat Frymouth, who is a great tight end, but it seems like the Steelers are trying to replace him, not even replace him, or trying to find a younger version of him already. So, these are all
crazy to me.
Yeah, Frymouth is such a stud and a steady.
They would rather have Jonnu Smith, but they're like, oh no, we're not going to keep Fields or Russell Wilson. Like,
Jonnu Smith is older than Frymouth.
Yeah, so
it doesn't make any freaking sense what they're doing. The Steelers are my AFC team. I have no freaking clue what the hell they're doing.
It's funny because I was actually talking to my friend from Arizona who's a Steelers fan, and I asked him what he thought. I was like, so who do you like, Rudolph, Cousins, or Rodgers? And you know what he said? He said he wished he kept Russell Wilson. I don't know about Wilson. Fields, maybe. I don't know about
Justin
Wilson.
Fields is the guy that you should have kept.
100%. So, real quick, let's hear. If anyone else is here, let us know. If not, there's another team.
When I first asked him a question, he said he was going to get an Eagles jersey.
Was he an Eagles jersey?
Already.
All right, let's go to Vikes for Life real quick. Let's run through this team. We're going to do it real quick now, and then we can run through the rest of these teams. Jaden Daniels, CeeDee Lamb, Drake. What's it, Drake? Oh man, London. We got Brown, Prescott. Oh, I like that. McMillan. That's really good. McMillan. Zay Flowers, Devontae Adams, Loveland, Brandon Ayuk, and Williams. Is that Javonte? Yeah, Javonte.
Yeah. But a lot of people say it could be a sleeper pick.
He could.
Yeah.
He could.
I think he will be the number one running back.
Oh my gosh. I mean, my favorite picks are actually pick 1, 2, and 4 of this whole thing. And then also Dak Prescott in the 5th round. It's also
Dak Prescott in the 5th round, I love.
Yeah. Pretty much I love 1, 2. I'm okay about 3. I really love 4. And then 5, I think for where you got him, that is a proof. That's a stamp of approval getting him there. That's
4 and 5 are amazing to me. 4 and 5 are just special.
You're talking about the overall picks? Are you
for him? His 4th and 5th pick. Chase Brown and Dak Prescott being where they are for 4th and 5th round are just great picks.
Yes. Yeah. That alone is solid. Again,
Chase Brown for sure.
4 of the 5 of them is
speaking
perfect.
of volume.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure he's the only running back still there. So.
In fact, Chase Brown last year, he had 229 rushing attempts. And keep in mind, he wasn't even starting the whole year. Remember that.
At the beginning.
Well, no,
and he
didn't start at the beginning, and he did get hurt at the end.
I told you that Chase Brown was going to start, though. I told him in the preseason, I said, this guy in Illinois, I've seen him play multiple times.
You said that.
You did.
If it wasn't for Captain America getting hurt, he probably still would have been the starter.
No, Chase Brown was going to be the guy no matter what. Chase Brown was the guy in camp. They saw it. There's no doubt that Chase Brown was going to end up being the workhorse back because that's what he is. You give him the ball 50 times, those last 5 times are going to be better and better and better. That's just what he is.
Man, Chase Brown and Bucky just came out of nowhere last year, and I'm all here for it. I was happy for both of them.
I thought they came out exactly what I thought was going to happen. I called both of them.
All right. Where's your genie lamp? How'd you know?
Because I watched them play in college. Once again, remember, I went to U of I. So I saw Chase Brown every game, like all the time. I knew what that guy was.
ESPN, NFL 2K.
So what up, guys? Kadani's saying, what's up, guys? Listening to you guys while playing ESPN 2K5. What can I say, guys? Your guys asked for. No. nothing. I can't think of anything else that guy would ask for. This is great. That is perfect. It's a perfect night. Unless you're talking to us. And you are doing that too.
Except for maybe ordering some pizza and a 2-liter.
Yes, sir, Ski.
Yes, to yourself. Let's go. Let's go.
All right. So that was his team overall. Solid. Some players I'm kind of questioning why he picked them, but for best ball sake. But who knows? Maybe
McMillan's that guy. Loveland, who's going to start off on not probably going to be practicing until August. IU could be popping off, so that might be a good pick over it. Javonte could also be a good pick, but I do question McMillan and Loveland. Those are the only two ones I really and Drake London that early too. Those are the three I weren't worried about. Besides
people have always been high on London, and I don't see why people have always been high on London. I mean, last year he actually did surprisingly really well, but I don't.
He popped off for like a handful of games, but I feel like outside of those games where he did really well, he wasn't all that great consistently.
He was
all right.
Also after that, right?
Yeah. So what team we look at next? Or do we want to talk about our teams? I'm not sure if we talked about Anthony or not. Okay. We can talk about ours.
We'll talk about Anthony real quick. He'll get mad if we skip.
Where's Anthony? Oh, this is Crown
Royal, the first one.
I would have done that first. Man. Forget that. Anthony. My fault, Anthony. I would have gave you first. I would have went you first. Let's go. Jamar Chase, Terry McLaurin. That's really early, but I love the pick. We got Williams. We got Love. DJ Moore. Warren.
Love it.
I like that too. Sutton. Warren again. Jay Reed. Cam Ward and Luther Burden.
Well, but obviously
I love some and don't like. I love some and don't like others.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because he's from the one spot, so I feel like it almost would have made almost more sense. Well, granted, Jamar Chase, so I get it, but like even debating Brock Bowers at the 101 just because of 3.5 points to potentially 4.5 points if he gets the first down, because people are forgetting there's also a point for receiving and rushing first downs. So it's like, man,
the reason why I'm higher on that is because I believe Tyler Warren could be this year's Brock Bowers.
And see, there you go. If that's your guy, then
it's set up, no quarterback.
Exactly, he's exactly the same guy. Everything looks terrible offensive line, but you're the only big pick. You're the only one. So like that's why I feel like that might be good.
Here's the only thing I feel like he should have done. I think he could have waited till the last pick to get Cameron Ward. I don't think anybody was going to take him.
Yeah.
And since he has Jordan Love, I would take Tucker Kraft.
Man, it don't. Yeah, I mean,
because he could have taken Tucker Kraft, and he would have had Jalen Reed, Kraft, and Love.
Yep.
I don't know. Well, I don't know if he could have got Tucker Kraft because it looks like.
Tucker Kraft was going.
Oh, you're right. It does go the other way.
Right before.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was going the other way. You're right. I took.
No worries. You're good. You're good. Good, brother. But no, overall, it's a good team. I think there's upside, and this is very there's some.
I would have gotten Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
You should have went another tight end. That's why one more tight end, and then got the.
No offense to Luther Burden.
You should have instead of Reed, you should have gone Ingram. Come on now, Anthony. I mean, I know you're a Commanders fan, but come on now.
All right, we got Jack, and he says, "Can you guys do a rookie mock draft with the XFL Super Flex League?"
That would be fun.
That would be fun until after the second round. I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know anybody else.
I don't even know if I can get through the first round without knowing.
Hey man, it's a whole new field out there. I wouldn't mind doing it. Just like how I tried college a couple of times. It's actually kind of fun when you don't know anything.
You don't know anything about college?
Yeah,
I know everything about college. So
yeah, I was gonna say I know a lot about college.
Well, no. What I mean is doing a mock of college football, like super flex and all this other thing.
I can
do a mock in college.
I'll kill it.
Yeah, I can do a mock.
I did that years ago. Okay, I did that
I'm not saying I'll be too deep, but I can do.
I could go
4, 5, 6 maybe 7 rounds.
I'm because we go rookie drafts, right? So it's the rookie along with now the guys that are popping off there are second year to first year guys. I could probably go 10 rounds deep, man. I'm telling you.
Pause.
But that's about it. Yeah, after about 120 guys, I'm all done. I'm all done. So
yeah, all right. Okay, so now let's talk about our teams real quick, and then after that we can get out of here.
Yeah, because we're gonna get out of here real quick because I might not talk about everyone's team. So let's go. Mark, Gibbs, BTJ, Mahomes, Herbert, Henderson, Roman Dunze, Kelsey, Tracy, Kincaid, Kraft, Pitts.
I love the tight end picks, especially where you got them. So that was your money maker for this kind of scoring. So that was nice.
BTJ is another guy who's going to get a lot of volume catches. Jahmyr Gibbs is an explosion waiting to happen. If you're looking for a pop back, coming back year for Mahomes, I mean, this might be the one that you want to have. Herbert,
I do think this will be a bounce back year for Patrick Mahomes.
Well, especially when you have Travis Kelsey on this same team. I think this is a really good, smart pick overall for that. And then you got these tight ends because now, once again, they have to come to you if they want a tight end because there's none left.
Yeah.
Well, not between our teams.
Yeah, no, kind of just sweep the board there. Oh, man.
Especially, I got kind of the middle tier. Alex has all the top tier with your two tops mixed in.
Yep. Yep. That's about it.
Yeah, no. Overall, just I like the team and I love the later additions of the tight ends because that's how you should be doing it for this kind of scoring, guys. No, if it's there, take advantage.
It's a smart pick. It's a smart team. And that's what Mark is. All right. Alec has Brock Bowers, Devon Achan. I hate him. Garrett Wilson, George Kittle, Hubbard. I love that pick. Hanson and Andrews. Those are great. Tua and Geno, not great quarterbacks, but they get the job done. So as much as you think top end is great, they're not going to be that far from the top end. So that actually works out for him. Stephon Diggs, who is the number one wide receiver, I think that's going to pop off. And Zach Ertz is taking a flyer on a guy who had a great year last year.
Of course. Yeah. I wanted to go tight end heavy with that premium. Literally having Brock Bowers, who will literally lead all of the tight ends in points.
And now he has a competent quarterback.
He does. He has a good enough quarterback to get the job done. And then Kittle is George Kittle.
And remember that he has a stack now with Geno Smith being on this team.
Exactly. That's another reason why I looked at that. And I was like, you know what? I wanted to take Geno in the 8th, but I was like, you know what? There's other QBs there who can give me upside. Let's get Tua. I was like, Geno for the 9th. Perfect, because now I've got that stack of him and Bowers. That's a killer stack.
I have
for some of those weeks.
Much higher
monster because of Bowers being elite.
I have Geno Smith much higher than Tua. I can't trust Tua at all.
Oh, hey, I understand it, but to me, it was more like there was no other QBs there that really reigned the dinner bill for me, unless I took a shot on a rookie. So I was like, all right, let's just
Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
Who could be still?
I would take Matthew Stafford over Tua.
Me too. Me too. I have Matthew Stafford as a bottom end of tier 3. All right, me. Someone want to read this real quick so we get out of here?
Yeah, we got Jay Jettas, Justin Jefferson, Trey McBride, amazing pick. Baker Mayfield, top 5 QB. Sam Laporta, another amazing pick. Quinshon Junkins, who's going to be a workhorse in Cleveland. And then you've got Jared Goff as your other quarterback, which could be great. Devontae Smith, that late's not bad. Aaron Jones will probably be first, second down back in Minnesota. Deebo Samuel, don't know what we're going to get from him. Could be good.
Could be a big upside swing.
We got Matthew Golden. That could be a good pick. And then Cooper Kupp in the last round is just insane.
Yeah.
How the mighty have fallen. If Cooper Kupp can stay healthy, I think Cooper Kupp could have a good year.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Exactly.
But no,
if the Seahawks can block.
That's a pretty good team for a best ball team.
If a team can get to Sam Darnold, then it's all over.
You definitely have out of the 3 of us, I have the worst QBs, but I make up for it with the best tight ends. So
yes, I agree.
So overall,
Well, Trey McBride's to be right there, and so is Sam Laporta.
I think you have 1. He's got 2 and 3, and then you have 4.
And I have, just like you have a stack with your top tight end, I have Jared Goff along with my Sam Laporta.
Exactly, and I just hope Sam Laporta has a bounce back year.
With Travis Kelce and Badger Ball. Look at that.
Yeah, but we don't care about that. We don't care about that.
We all did it, and but I can't say that because Baker Mayfield's probably going to play most of the time. But it doesn't matter because if Jared Goff does pop off, guess who's also going to be popping off? Sam Laporta. So
I hope so. I really hope so because I'm unsure with how the new OC is going to be when it comes to using the tight end position. But with someone like Sam Laporta's there, people are just ducking him this year because of last year. And I think, where you got him is perfect. Especially for this premium league, you did phenomenal there. So, yeah, overall, fantastic job, everybody. Welcome to Scott Fishbowl, baby.
All right, that worked out, guys. That worked out well. That was a lot of fun. I'm glad we were able to try this out. We talked about all the news that went on. I didn't get to all the hypothetical drafts I wanted to talk about for Dynasty, but we'll get to that on Sunday on the Morning Spike. So please make sure you guys like the stream, subscribe, and join us on Sunday because we'll be here on Sunday. We'll be here on Tuesday for the Chicago Bears and back here on Dynasty Pylon. Just for you to answer all your questions. Doesn't matter if it's IDP, doesn't matter if it's Dynasty, or if you got the Scott's Fishbowl. We can answer all those questions going forward. And because Donnie says, quick question for y'all. Who do y'all want as your head coach? Like, who is y'all all-time favorite as how they coach your teams? Who is the best coach? Period.
Like, wait, it says all-time favorite. So we're talking about anybody. It doesn't have to be someone who's coaching the NFL.
Yep.
Man, that's
crazy.
That's hard for me because there's so many amazing coaches. There's the Patriot way with Bill Belichick, the way that he always believed in doing things, and it bend never break. That was always great. There's Tom Landry, phenomenal.
Tom in there, I feel like.
I mean, you could throw Mike Tomlin there or Andy Reid. Hell, I'm almost tempted to
Tony Dungy. I always love Tony Dungy.
Yeah, Tony Dungy's great. That's hard for me because there's so many that I think fit for the culture that they built and the championship teams.
For me, Joe Gibbs.
There you go.
For me,
Super Bowls.
Give me Bill Walsh. I'll take Bill Walsh.
No. Bill Walsh. You look at his coaching tree. Good Lord, that's insane.
He's Bill Walsh. He made the run and gun. He made the offense that we know today. He made it.
Yeah, I'll pick just because. I mean, he's still coaching. He's been around forever. Andy Reid. Talk about phenomenal coach. Like literally, the dude is amazing, and he's won how many Super Bowls now? I mean, obviously not the most, but it's just great. It's the OC and decent man. Okay,
that's OC.
We can do Bill Walsh, Mike Holmgren, and Steve Mariucci.
For the real one, I was going to go Bill Walsh. Actually, I was going to take Andy Reid as my offensive coordinator.
Oh, there you go. He's part of the coaching tree too. You know that, right?
Yep,
man.
Andy Reid he was under Mike Holmgren, who was under Bill Walsh.
Andy Reid was my head coach. What's his name? The guy for frickin' he's now the Bears head coach now. I think, right?
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson,
because Ben Johnson as an OC is a wizard. He's so damn good.
Then
DC,
Tony Dungy, hands down, my defense.
Listen,
Tony Dungy's my
I was going to say Tony Dungy.
Vic Fangio is my DC. I love Vic Fangio's defense. He is such an amazing defensive coordinator. Vic Fangio all the way.
Tony Dungy is the architect of one. I mean, you can go Ryan, but Tony Dungy is my guy. Always.
I love it too, I know I want John Madden. I can't wait for the movie. They said that's supposed to come out with Nick Cage and Madden.
Have you guys seen that? Christian Bale is Al Davis. I've seen the picture.
Christian Bale is unrecognizable.
We'll have to see that.
I literally thought it was Al Davis.
That is crazy. But no, once again,
Brandon
guys.
sent the picture, and I was like, "Oh, Nicolas Cage is John Madden." He's like, "Yeah, who's the other one?"
And by the way, the Panthers are apparently going to the Super Bowl.
We will talk about that on Sunday, guys. I have 13 minutes to get to the movie theater.
Exactly.
I will see you guys. I appreciate everyone being here, but we'll see you again next week.
Subscribe and come to the Discord. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Ooh. And bye, Alec.
Can we ban the fly? I'm not over here. Hell to look. No, you're not. Whatever.
Love you guys. Bye.
Getting hyped when I aim up, elevating that game up, stepping up to the competition. Only first place, and that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave, eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me other